Hey there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate.
And today we're taking a look at Cuphead by The Op.
You might be familiar with Cuphead, the game. Well, this is Cuphead, the board game, and this is going to be a real-time cooperative dice rolling game. Don't know that I've come across too many of those in my board gaming history, but this is very unique, very thematic, and it involves an app. And if you're out there thinking, you know, oh, app, technology, boo, that's not good, don't worry, the app is simply a timer. You don't have to play with it if you don't want to, although we really enjoy playing with the app.
Yeah.
So this is a frantic, panic-inducing experience, but it's really kind of cool. So let's take a look at it down below, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, here's Cuphead Fast Rolling Dice Game. Let me show this game to you all. And real quick, I do want to let you know that if you would like to not have anything spoiled to you, because there is unlockable content in this game. They come in these boxes here. And I'm going to show you what comes in the first box, but if you don't even want to see that, then I would advise you to fast forward through this section of the video. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and show you what you get in the first boss box here. Now, in this game, you are going to be playing as Cuphead, or perhaps one of his buddies, such as his brother Mugman, Miss Chalice, or Elder Kettle. And you're going to get a player board here and a set of matching dice. And you're going to get 5 white dice and 1 black die. And there's going to be a deck of cards inside of each box that you open. And in the box, you're going to find a card that tells you all the cards that are going to be in that box. And it's in order. And so you are going to take everything from the top of the card to the first stop card. And that's going to be the first phase of this boss, the root pack. And so you're going to take those cards. It's going to come in a deck of root pack cards and a boss. And this boss right here, let me show you what you see on him. He's going to show you how many hit points he has depending on the number of players in the game. Solo, 2-player, 3-player, 4-player. Since I'm by myself, we're going to say that this is solo, and I'm going to set this dial to 6. So he's got 6 health there, as you can see, and it goes right there. Now I deal the top 3 cards to fill up the first 3 slots. It's always 3 cards unless a certain card comes up, in which case we would fill in the 4th slot. And then we're ready to play. Now, you play this game in real time. This is a real-time game. You are going to be rolling your dice as fast as you can, trying to get these different icons. And the round lasts only 10, 15, or 20 seconds. So this is a very fast game. And you can use any timer that you want, or you can download the Cuphead Fast Rolling Dice Game app, which I have right here. And I'm going to show you guys how this works. You just hit the start button. You tell it how many players you have, what boss you're going against, and how long you want that timer. You'll hit the ready button, and you'll hit it again.
A great slam and then some.
And it will play music and count down the time. Now, I'm not going to run that all the way through 20 seconds. You get the idea. And it will also keep score for you at the end of the game, but we'll cover that later. So again, you're just trying to get these different icons, rolling the dice as fast as you can, and it doesn't matter which dice you use to take the icons. You just want to get the right matching symbol. So for instance, these are the same, and so I would take this die, and since that is the first card, I have to play it in one of these 2 slots in this red box here. So I'm going to just place it right there, and then I can go on to the next card, which happens to be a jump, and sure enough, I have a jump, and I can place it right there. Now, if I didn't have a jump, I have 2 choices. I can re-roll my dice in hopes that I do get a jump, and that's probably the smarter decision, or I can just skip over this card and go on to the next card. However, if I do that, any card that I do not completely satisfy, I'm taking damage from the enemy, because essentially, thematically, what's happening here is the enemy is attacking me in 3 different ways, and I have to play these icons to evade being hit. And so if I get hit, I lose a health point. If I lose all my health points, then I am knocked out, and it's up to my teammates to revive me by spending a parry token. We'll come back to that here in just a second. You can see here this one requires 2 different icons, and so I have to hopefully get those 2 things that I need. Now I'm glad I got the finger gun here because on any of the cards that only require one icon, such as these first two cards, if I get the finger gun, I can also place that in the other open slot next to the matching icon. I have to get the matching icon to be able to do this, and every time that I play a finger gun in the extra slot, then I am shooting the bad guy and he's going to lose some health. And that is how you win this game, by bringing the boss down to 0 health. And that's essentially it. If you clear out these cards, then you move them off the board, and you're going to flip out 3 more cards. And they will fill in these slots right here like so. And you are going to come across eventually another kind of card. This card here requires a parry icon, and if you are able to satisfy it, then you get a parry token. And if you'll recall, that is the token that you need to be able to bring somebody back if they lose all of their health. So these are very important. You want to try to get these. If you're playing the solo game and you lose all of your health, you're going to have all 3 parry tokens filled up, spend them all to get 1 health to be able to come back. In between rounds, you can spend 2 parry tokens to get 1 health. That's how the solo play works. Now, there is one last card that I want you to see in this first boss deck, and it's this wallop card right here. When this wallop card comes out, this is when you're going to have to fill in all 4 slots on the boss board here. And you're going to have to satisfy at least these 3 cards. The wallop card is optional. It requires the diamond, and if you are able to fill this up, then you get a wallop card, which these wallop cards are like bonuses. A lot of times they are going to give you icons that you can use at any time. Just play the card. Or there's going to be some sort of benefit. Choose one player to gain a health point, that sort of thing. If you beat the boss, then you are going to immediately stop and you are going to move on to the next one. You're going to look back at your card here, and it's going to tell you what cards you are to get for the phase 2. And when you run into that next stop card, then you play phase 2. And you keep going until you get to the knockout card, and that is when you have successfully defeated the boss. And then there are going to be some cards here at the bottom that you are going to be able to purchase, because at the end of every round you're going to get money, and you can spend that money to get upgrades. You can upgrade your pea shooter here, or you can get some charms that are going to help you through other missions. You get to unlock the next boss and go on and take on everything else. Now, let me show you guys the box insert here. It's very nice. It holds everything very well, holds all the boards and boxes and pieces just fine. They don't shift around. Everything really works nice with this box insert. I'm very happy with it. And there you have it. That is Cuphead, fast rolling dice game. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Cuphead as a gamer and non-gamer. Normally we would be showing you gameplay footage of it while we talk to you about our thoughts on it, but since we already did a playthrough video, and you can click that eye in the top right corner if you want to watch it, we're just going to talk to you guys face to face here. So Sam, I don't know about you, I am not familiar with Cuphead, the game, other than knowing that this is based off of a game.
Did you really think that I would be familiar with a game that you're not familiar with?
No, not at all. And I apologize for us not having prior knowledge of who Cuphead is. I've been explained a little bit about who he is by some friends, but we just know it from the board game. But what were your thoughts on this one?
Real-time games are not my favorite, typically. It's just, I think for non-gamers, it's not the right one to do, because there's not really time to stop and ask questions.
Right, exactly.
But it was very simple. It was a little bit Yahtzee. And the cooperative aspect of it. I don't think I've played a real-time cooperative dice game.
I don't know that I can think of one. Yeah,
so I think the cooperative part kind of adds to it where the real-time takes away from it, just as far as like a non-gamer coming into it. But it was a really fun game. It's very easy to understand. You want to keep going. You're like, after the first round, when you figure out how it goes and you get it, the first couple rounds are pretty easy and it gets harder. But the app I really enjoyed because of the music, and it was really enjoyable. It didn't feel, I don't know how to say this. It didn't feel very gamey.
Well, I was just about to say that. It doesn't feel like a board game.
Yeah.
It feels like an app. And what I mean by that is it feels like
something you could be playing on your phone.
right. And when you complete a level, there's that addictive nature of how those mindless app games can be, where it's like, oh, you get these benefits, and do you want to keep going because it's not that hard to beat the next level? Come on, you can do it, kind of thing. And so yeah, you're like, yeah, that was only like 20 seconds. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that's 20 seconds is as long as the round can be. So it's not a long game at all. And you can make it as quick as 10 seconds if you feel like you're really good at this sort of thing. But yeah, it doesn't feel like a board game as much as it does just some kind of interactive video game like experience. But it is a board game because you're rolling dice, you're trying to, place them where you need them, you're making strategic decisions of whether you want to skip over something and get the next thing at the risk of taking damage. Do you go for the wallop and get that card that's going to help you on down the road, or is that too risky? So you're making these choices, and they're fun choices, or at least I felt they were fun. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought they were really fun, and it's you're wanting to encourage each other, but at the same time you're like, I got this. You need to hurry up.
Yeah, for real. You definitely. I mean, it's cooperative, so you're wanting everybody to succeed, but it's kind of like a solitaire cooperative.
Because you have to get your own personal stuff.
Yeah.
You can't rely on the other person. I mean, you can.
You help them if they die, basically.
Yeah.
Is where the cooperative nature part comes in. But you're wanting everybody to pull their own weight. You're wanting everybody to do their part. And so that's just a kind of a fun, come on, let's do this kind of experience.
I think it's a good game for non-gamers. I think the real-time aspect may be the only area that would be a slight drawback, but I really think that they do it really well.
Yeah.
And it's such a simple concept that it is done well, and it is a good game for a non-gamer.
Now, I will say that you get further into this game and you unlock new boxes and take on new bosses, that they do a very clever way of changing up this. You've got to match the symbols. And so it's not as easy as I see the symbol here and it matches the symbol there and I've done it. They've got other things that kind of go into it, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it's not just as simple as connecting the two images. You have to kind of think about it, that this image means this and this image means that kind of thing. And so
there's some thinking.
Yes, which you've got to do in 20 seconds or less.
Yeah.
And so it makes for some challenging experiences, and it's a fun overall. If you lose, you really want to get back into it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So let's get into our pros and cons with Cuphead here, Sam. The things for you that really worked well as a non-gamer, what was it with this game?
I think the fact that it is cooperative, it is very simple, but it's not a children's game.
Yeah.
It's simple enough to understand the idea, but with each level it gets more difficult. So I think that's a really good way to play with non-gamers.
Yeah. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned that, because so often we think if it's low complexity, then that means it can be a children's or family game.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say that with this one, just given the nature that you have to react really quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there aren't kids out there who do have good reaction
This
time.
just isn't one that, and the theme too is a little more mature.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. So anything about this one that you didn't like too much?
I don't think so. Again, I'll say the real-time aspect, I really liked it in this game. I can just see how that could be if you have a non-gamer and a gamer who's really competitive that maybe doesn't explain it great, how a non-gamer could feel a little panicked and pushed to play the game quicker than they're comfortable with, if that makes sense. But I think for a real-time game, they did an excellent job.
And I will throw it out there, folks, that that sense of panic and urgency might not hit everybody in the same way.
We really like that.
We enjoy that. I'm sure there are people out there who run away from that kind of thing, that they want to be able to have the comfort of sitting as long as they would like to think through their move and plan things out. That's not really us. We're the type that is like, no, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. So if you're somebody out there who really doesn't like having to move quick and think quick and make quick decisions, this is definitely not the game for you. This is a game that requires you to be quick and just make split-second decisions. So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of that the non-gamer or casual gamer that you might be gaming with is not that type of person, then this game might not work very well for you.
I think, how many players does this go up to?
It goes up to 4, I think. Yeah, 2 to 4 players.
We've only played it with 2 players. I think this would be a lot of fun to play with 4 players.
You know, I think it would be. I think the more dice that are rolling around, 2 to 4 players, or 1 to 4, excuse me. You can solo this. The more dice that's going around, I think the more that this is just going to, a lot of energy going into it. So, final score on this one, Sam, scale of 1 to 10. What do you give it?
I really enjoyed this game. I think it's a great one to play with friends, gamers, non-gamers. I give it an 8.2.
You really like this one. You put it on your top 10
it was on my top 10. It was. We also did our top 10 the day after I played this game, so I'll give that as a little bit of a warning. But no, I really did. It's just a fun game.
8.2, that's a high score for this one. Yeah, for sure. For me, I think the thing that I enjoy the most about this game is how you unlock stuff as you continue on through it, and there's spoilers in that too, and so it's an exciting thing to open a new box and see what's in there, new cards, new bosses, all of that business. So I love it for that aspect of it. The back of the box says over 600 pieces. That's really cool. So for that, I'm going to give this game a solid 8, right below where Sam's coming in on it. I will say you do have the same idea of rolling dice and just trying to beat the boss before you run out of time, and so for some folk that might feel samey after a little bit, but the game is so quick that you can play it, be done with it, put it back on the shelf, and then come back at it, a week or 2 or whatever, and then get back into it and not feel like, it's the same thing over and over again. So 8 for me, 8.2 for you, Sam. That is Cuphead fast rolling dice game from the Op. Check it out.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.